Hi, my name is Jaden Langston, and today we're going to be talking about the sculptures of women that stood out to me and their power and symbolism throughout each era. So, first, I'm going to start with the Lady of Azure, or Azure, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This one was during the 17th century BC, and this was around the Daedalic art period. She was actually flourished in Crete by a famous sculptor, and they're known for their very distinctive features, such as their symmetrical face, long braided hair, an elaborate dress that delineates the outline of her body, bringing a more feminine grace to her. And you can see that in her, even like the look, you can see she has a very calm, very like serene smile, a serene posture, and she looks very graceful. Her hair actually shows a little bit of Egyptian influence, which was starting around the period of Greek art, taking from artists and sculptors from Egypt, which I thought was really interesting. She's currently housed in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. And it's said that she was found, or it was said to believe that she was found around the early 19th century in Crete. And she was actually featured in a famous 2004 film about war called Troy, which showcased her and the art from this period, which I thought was really interesting. And so this archaic statue actually represents a core, or kore, if I'm saying that right, or an archaic goddess. And these were actually redone several times as well during this era, where we got more of the core people or kore people. And we're actually going to move on to that one. So the statue of Kore, these were found, these were also in the archaic period. These were found around 510 BC. And these were found later in actually 1886 of the Parthenon. They found her head first, and then her body was found in 1888 south of the temple. So she's actually been reassembled out of the three pieces, but some bits and pieces of her are missing. But this one in particular, which I chose, has the conventional name Kore from Chios. And this sculptor and workmanship basically resembles the sculptures that were produced on this island. They're known for like these long sleeves. They also have a belt over them. Their garments are very, very decorated. They would be elaborated with reds or blues or yellows. They were kind of redone, but in different editions, which I thought was really interesting. And in this one, actually in her right hand, it said she would have held an offering to the goddess. But what's interesting is that these women also, as you picks, a winged Nike, and Nike was a deity or the personification of the idea of victory in athletic martial contests. She was a daughter of the Titan Pallas and Styx and sister of Kratos, Zelos, and Bia. And later during this time, her and her siblings actually fought on the side, and they later became Zeus's permanent companions. So this one here, this is depicting the winged Nike, who is adjusting or unbinding her sandal in order to walk barefoot in the sacred area of the Temple of Athena, a gesture that gave her the conventional name, the sandal binder. As you can see, the chiton or her clothing, it clings to her body almost as like if it's wet a little bit, which I thought was really interesting. Everything basically hugs her body, and while she doesn't have a face, everything is framed almost as if she has one, with more emphasis on her movement in her leg, with her getting her sandal on, and the detailing of her wings, which are very pretty. Some researchers say that they find very similarities of Nike and those of Aphrodite as well, which I thought was very interesting. Now, this one, it's said to have the theme of the celebration of the military victories of the Athenians against their enemies. But for me, I thought of it as almost a battle, maybe a battle cry, if you will, but something of the sort where like it's a very powerful image, and I would have liked to see what it was like if they were to sculpt her face. I wonder what it would look like. In conclusion, these were the sculptures that stood out to me during this semester. I really appreciated researching and getting to know more about these sculptures and the symbolism and power that still carry around to this day. And I would love to go visit a museum and either see these works of art in person or just get to know more about other sculptures of women that stood out during a bunch of the eras that we learned about and more.